Sean Diddy Combs is fighting back against the lawsuit from his former employee, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, in the motion saying it's 100 pages of countless tall tales, shameless celebrity name drops, and irrelevant images. Got so bad that Lil Rod has now broken his silence. And we got the quotes here. Diddygate is back in action here on Popcorn Planet, and we have some updates for you. Breaking today, Diddy's producer, Lil Rod, has broken his silence and done an interview talking about whatever he can still talk about, not specifically about the allegations because he's in a lawsuit. But before we go there, let's just recap where we stand on Diddy. Diddy has filed this motion against Lil Rod's motion. Now, Lil Rod's the one who had Cuba Gooding Jr. and all this stuff in there. And again, like I said, running nearly 100 pages. It includes countless tall tales, shameless celebrity name drops, irrelevant images. Yet despite all its hyperbole and lurid threats, it failed to state a single viable claim against any of the Combs defendants. So he's calling it out, saying that this is a run-of-the-mill commercial disagreement that's now turned into a salacious RICO conspiracy. He goes on really to label out, like, they've proven nothing. They've done nothing, is what he's saying. While all these things are accused, really isn't anything specific. It's pure fiction, a shameless attempt to create media hype and extract a quick settlement, Combs' lawyer said also in a statement on Monday. There was no RICO conspiracy, and Mr. Jones was not threatened, groomed, or any of those other things. We look forward to proving in a court of law that all of Mr. Jones' claims are made up and must be dismissed. Now, his Lil Rod's attorney, Mr. Blackburn, has filed back and said, no, this is a billing exercise by individuals who are late to the game and are attempting to fill their pockets before their client, Diddy, is indicted. Just a nice slap back. Obviously, the attorneys are disagreeing. Combs' attorneys wrote on Monday that Jones's true purpose is to generate media hype and exploit this for a settlement. Goes on to say, it's no surprise given that Blackburn was referred to a grievance committee earlier this year. Now, yes, it's true. He was given to a New York's grievance committee in April after what appeared to be a pattern of cases with apparent jurisdiction issues. The case in which concern originated was not related to Combs. But now Blackburn's fighting back on that, saying, no, that's not true. Look, it's a lot of he said, she said with these lawyers, and it's gotten messy on their own right. A reasonable interference from Blackburn's pattern of behavior is that he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrass defendants with salacious allegations, pressure defendants to settle quickly. Blackburn told NBC News in April that no grievance has been filed against him. NBC News is inquired about the status of the referral with the court. He asked Monday that Combs' attorney are fixated on a quote from a filing, an unrelated opinion. If you don't do salacious S, I won't have salacious things to say, was his response. Now, look, at the end of the day, as I look at it all, Combs does make some points. Blackburn's thing wasn't really written that well. It wasn't. It made a lot of salacious allegations. But at the end of the day, Combs was written better. And I talked to John Witherspoon, attorney who had been helping me. And yeah, it's better written. There's a lot of stuff there. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I think this whole case is ultimately just to get discovery. I really do wonder if what happened. Clearly stuff's happened with Diddy, and maybe some of this did happen to Lil Rod. We'll see. They should have their day in court, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this is just to open up the books to get more stuff. Now, here's what Lil Rod's saying. Now, he doesn't get up and speak specifically about the allegations because he can't. He has an ongoing, legal battle brewing. Here I am standing for justice and for what I believe is right for my life, and I'm being punished. It's killing me, all the backlash. So he couldn't speak about, he made it clear, he can't speak about the specifics. He wasn't gonna speak about the specifics. He did say that. But he did agree to speak about, in his first major interview, he feels blackballed, is what he says. He declined to expand on his most sensitive allegations, saying his complaint speaks for itself, but he was willing to discuss working with Combs and what he describes as damaging fallout from his blockbuster lawsuit. So he talks about how he met Diddy and, he speaks highly of himself and how he was underappreciated in the beginning. None of this really matters. I figured at least do some networking when he worked on it. There were free drinks, IV drips, massage therapists, basketball. There were hundreds of people. First, I wasn't even noticed. He talks about how Diddy didn't even know he could play instruments. And he's kind of hyping himself up. Okay, so what? Get to the point. So what was it like with working with Diddy? Here we go. His attitude is like 0 to 100 in seconds. Sometimes he's asking for something and he doesn't even know what he's asking for. He'd be like, yo, turn those little trinkles up. And I would look at him like, okay, the trinkles, let's see. I just constantly keep eye contact and see if we could turn it up something if I get it right. And I get that nod. It started to develop his ear too. He liked that. I understood music theory and professional terms. I had to understand what was going through. Now here's what's interesting. Tell me if you notice it too. What was it like working with Diddy? I imagine he's going to say horrible and list all these horrible things that Diddy has allegedly done. No, he's going to hype himself up as a producer of how good he was working with Diddy. And it's odd. He can't help but lift himself up, Lil Rod. And in some ways, it almost makes me go, well, but what about Diddy? What did he do? Well, that was so bad. Because it sounds like he noticed you, actually knew what you were doing, let you do it. That's how we became close. He's not a musician. He's more like an executive. He likes options. I figured, okay, I'm going to add 10 or 20 extra parts or here and there when it comes in. I'll mute everything else, play them one by one, and this will give me a plate to choose from. It was more him giving options. It got to be to the point that out of all these hundreds of people in those writing sessions, when it went home to Miami, it was only myself and DeForest who flew back with him. Now, I guess you could argue, well, Andy's setting up the tone that he really was close to him. He really did have the access. And I guess you could argue that. Your lawsuit alleges a pattern of, this word. When did that allegedly start? One of the first moments that was very uncomfortable was around Thanksgiving. Me and DeForest were the only ones flown to Miami. It's Thanksgiving Day, and he has a table outside for his employees. He's inside, and he waves me in. I'm a little nervous, but excited to be brought into the family dinner. I felt privileged to be sitting there. He introduced me and asked me to bless the food. I'm trying to talk with people sitting next to me, but I notice everyone is saying very little. I realized they're probably all under NDAs. Big assumption, but okay. I don't like to sit uncomfortable too long, so I went to the studio. You left the dinner? All right, anyway, whatever. About 10 minutes later, Puff comes rolling in with Young Miami and others following behind. This was the Thanksgiving family dinner, and now I'm just so confused. But okay, assistants are lighting candles, giving us cocktails. He went to his bathroom attached to the studio and summoned me into Forest. He asked me if I had a $100 bill. There were 3 white lines on the sink. He was asking me to do something I've never done before. It was awkward. He was trying to get me to do some substance. I don't want to judge anybody, but that's at the top of my list of things I'm afraid to do. Okay, did you do it? Did you do it? How do you describe Diddy? He's a monster. So now, literally, I don't know. Now he's a monster. He'll do whatever is necessary to get exactly what he wants. He doesn't take no for an answer. Now we're starting to finally hear some negative. He told me himself, there it is, my mama. Anybody, I can't say certain things, sorry. Otherwise they, ding. Anybody who can say anybody who can even say that jokingly is a monster. He's nothing to be played with. For a person whose brand is Love Records and changed their name to Love and named their kid Love, he doesn't show love. He's just marketing. Now, this is the first time I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what we've heard. This is the narrative we're supposed to be spinning, and we got there. And I agree with all this. I really do believe Diddy knew something was coming, and he was preemptively trying to get ahead of it by being Mr. Love. It's all love. It's all love. He was probably, actually, maybe even he was feeling a little regret of like, crap, I got to get some of myself better. I'm sure he wasn't fully better because he still lied on Cassie. But I suspect that was all an attempt to get ahead of it, if you will, right? That's what I think was this whole love nonsense. Where are you based? For safety reasons, I'm not allowed to say. That's it. We don't really get into any more Diddy. That's really the only thing he says about Diddy, which to me is kind of interesting. You could still call out the behavior by Diddy and your problems with Diddy, or even things you've heard now said after which, like, there wasn't a lot here in this interview, if I'm being honest. How's your, I have moved locations. He's afraid. I believe that. How's your battle? Diddy affected your career? It's been very tough. Well, clearly no one is allowed to know where you live. So how could you work? Because of this lawsuit, most people don't want to come near working with me for whatever reason. Whether they've been in partnership with Puff or they want to just sit back and see what happens. He's a gatekeeper in the music industry. In this industry, to be successful, you have to have worked with someone like him or Jay-Z, Dr. Dre. So many people I've worked with have had business deals with him. I reached out to try to get a deal for my album, and people don't want to get involved. Crazy. Now, I believe that. The crazy part is when you sign most artists, you have to get in the studio and pay producers. My album is finished. It's mixed, mastered. I just need someone to come in and help with marketing and the release. I did the hard part, but people are too scared. Whatever their reasons are to touch this, I've been told the best way to do it is independent. But I have no engine. Sounds like he's putting it out there like, will someone please buy my album? Again, I thought this wasn't for clout. Why are you pumping your album in the article that you're supposed to be condemning Diddy? I don't know. Look, I don't believe Diddy, but am I the only one getting a little weird vibe from this? Musicians, because I have to take security around me when I'm performing, and most musicians don't get paid enough to take security. Why do you need security? You're afraid of Diddy? Yes, I got threats. I've never had so much hitting me at once. Diddy has a lot of people on his payroll. It's a lot of different positions. He's very connected. It's made me nervous traveling. Going to hotels, I ask if there's any way to remove my name. Last time I landed in LA, I knew I had connections there. I got off the plane worried. I masked my face and changed my outfits, trying to disguise myself. For sure, I was uncomfortable, paranoid, afraid, but I told myself, you can't keep living like this. I've got 3 therapists. In his lawsuit, he alleges Combs threatened to with harm. Everybody saw the video of Cassie. That's who I'm dealing with. Now, all right, now that's a good statement, and I can explain it. And sure, you might say, Andy, the dude's doing the good work here. He's put himself out there, and now he's at risk. Yeah, he needs someone to release this album. It's surprising nobody's gonna touch this album, at least independently. You'd think someone would be like, you know what? This guy is accusing Diddy. Let's get his album out. So no more touring with other musicians. He had little gigs, but he's talking about how uncomfortable it is. The anxiety's through the roof. I mean, this is all important because it's showing the damages that he's suffered since all of this happened with Diddy. Is it an overstatement to say you feel blackballed? It's not an overstatement. It's correct. I feel like there is so many people rooting for Combs, or maybe they're rooting for me and just scared to say something. Here I am standing up for justice for what I believe is right for my life, and I'm being punished for that. I'm blackballed for sure. I've had many nights and weeks and months of suicidal thoughts. It's the music that kept me living all my life. What do you want people to know? Why speak out now? For some reason, our culture worships Combs and his billionaire status. I don't agree with that. I think everyone's turning on Combs. I think we're turning on Combs. They don't want to see him fall because they're living vicariously through him. No, I think a lot of people are afraid because they're going to be complicit, dude. They have to understand Puffy is no god. Who still thinks Puffy's a god? Does anybody in my chat still think Puffy's a god after watching that Cassie video? He's nothing more than a shrewd, crooked businesswoman. 100%. I think we've proven this. He's stolen publishing for years. He's nothing but a thief. He has no soul. He lives off people's gifts and talents. It's not a human way to live. My name's all over the Love album credits, so I had to have done some producing. I got a Grammy nom, and I'm sitting here doing nothing, unable to work. That's not right. Well, first of all, that happens a lot in this town. A lot of people get a big gig, and then they don't get the next gig. It's not always that easy to get a nomination and then a gig. There is a little bit of sour grapes here. Especially since Puffy promised me all these things that I never got. Welcome to Hollywood. The music industry is tanked, dude, right now. It is so hard to be successful. So I feel for this guy, but I'm also a little hesitant. I'm curious where you guys stand. In an amended lawsuit, Jones alleged he had a verbal contract promising royalty points and producer, etc., and he hasn't been compensated for his work. Now, look, that's a reason to have sour grapes. We reached for comment from spokesman for Combs. No such agreement was reached. They say Mr. Holmes was hired as a session musician, sound engineer, is fully compensated for his contribution. Yeah, is there a contract that proved it? Because if there was, that lawsuit would be all over the place. The rep further pointed Rolling Stone to a prior statement from Combs regarding his decision in the last few years to return published writings to his bad boy artists. No other company has taken the steps that I have taken to give publishing back to the artists. It's about fairness, integrity, and acknowledging the contributions these artists have made, Combs said in a statement to Rolling Stone. So again, he's broke. He's broke. How he's going to pay bills. I can't do the Hollywood Bowl show. What are you hoping for moving forward? Hoping once I drop my album, people will support it. Hope that, again, it's a plug. It's a plug. He's plugging himself, and I can't blame him. He put himself out there. The question, though, is he telling the truth? We still got to figure that out. There's kind of a waiting game. He's talking about how much he plays instruments. I could pick up the bass right now and play it. I could pick up a keyboard. There's a lot of people who can do that, brother. A lot of people play music and they're all struggling. They have second jobs. You need to get another job. So we do. We do the music on the side until we get the opportunity, but not everyone can do that forever. I just hope that all this turns around for me so I can get back to doing the music I love. It's killing me. It's taking me out of not doing it. Look, nothing's stopping you from doing music, and I don't want you to be in that place. I hope you get out of it, and especially if you're telling the truth. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? The fact is, I do think Combs' team has some valid points in some of the stuff. What really happened? Where are the specifics? This has always been one that I'm a little hesitant on. I don't understand. At the same time, I'm all for opening up the books so we can expose the real truth to everything else. Let this man have his day in court. I still support that. But what do you think? Are you hesitant? Do you like what he said? Do you think I'm off base? I want to hear your thoughts. We will keep you updated once we get more officially. I know it's been a while, but hit that bell for all alerts so you get notified. When you do, smash the like, leave the comment, help the engagement. How long until you think we finally get some update on this from the indictment? Will there be one? Will Diddy get off? Tell us your theories down below. Stay tuned. We got lots more coming here on Popcorn Planet.